and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah and this is part 2 of our Norwegian Fjords adventure on the Queen Mary 2. If you missed part 1, do go and check it out. We are now looking into the second half of our journey, including my favourite port, Olden, and a very rainy day in Bergen. Our time in Olden was without a doubt a highlight of the entire cruise. You may remember from one of my previous videos that we came here before and visited the Breathtaking glacier, a trip we did in the absolute pouring rain, but this time we had a new location, the incredible Loen Skylift. We bought our tickets conveniently from the tourist office right near the port, which included the scenic bus ride to the base of the lift. The bus trip was a quick and pleasant 10 minutes, giving us the first glimpse of the valley. Once we were in the cable car, the ascent began, and it takes only about 5 minutes, but the views change dramatically as we climb. And it changed a lot right at the end of the cable car ride, where we were suddenly amongst thick snow. I spent my time having so much fun, taking countless pictures and videos and trying to capture the sheer scale of the landscape for you all. Poor John, on the other hand, found the cold a bit much, so he kept popping inside the warm gift shop before venturing back out again. We knew that on this day that the rain was forecast for the afternoon, so we were determined to get up to the top of the mountain and down early, and that completely paid off as we beat the worst of the weather. Once we were safely back at the harbour, we quickly took the chance to get some more pictures and videos of the Queen Mary 2's exterior before the rain finally caught up with us. Afterwards, we walked to the town centre. Since we had explored the shops on our last visit, we didn't need to stop for souvenirs or snacks. Instead, we headed right around the harbour to recreate a photo. We found the exact spot where we took a picture during our first visit to Olden to get this same photo, but this time the Queen Mary 2 was filling the background instead of Iona. By this time, the predicted rain had started, so we headed back towards the warmth of the ship for lunch. so impressed when we arrived back on board and we were handed warm hand towels. I know it's probably a standard hygiene thing, but to us it was a little moment of luxury and a welcome of warmth to our very chilly hands. We decided to head to the gastropub for lunch, which serves a cosy but limited menu, and it was a nice change to the buffet. Later, we watched the sail away, and we were informed that there's a local tradition for a man to play music as the ship departs. It was such a charming addition to the experience. It made me wonder though, because I don't recall hearing it during our last visit. Is this a tradition only for Cunard ships, or perhaps only for the Queen Mary too? If any of you know, please do let me know in the comments down below. That evening, we started by settling in to the Commodore Club, the ship's observation lounge, to enjoy the views as we sailed out of the fjord. John indulged in one of those whiskies named after the previous Commodores, and I spent a period of time reading about the history of the previous Cunard Commodores. We had another one of those wonderful cruise encounters when an interesting couple came and sat with us, and we chatted away, completely losing track of time. Afterwards, we chose to head to the buffet for dinner, where we were delighted to find a fresh sushi, and I was loving the intricate fruit carving display. When we finally got back to our cabin, we found an exciting formal letter waiting for us, which definitely piqued our curiosity and will be explained very shortly. The next morning brought us to Bergen. Our big plan was to take the famous funicular up the mountain for the panoramic views, but as you can see, the city was completely soaked in fog. We couldn't even see the mountain, let alone the lift. Bergen has a reputation for being Norway's rainiest towns, and it certainly delivered that day. Given the gloomy weather, we decided on a relaxed start and used some of the quieter pool facilities, while the rest of the ship headed ashore. When we eventually ventured out, we braced ourselves against the rain. We navigated the streets to find the statue of Edvard Grieg for a photo opportunity. We then walked towards the famous fish market. This was actually a bit of a difficult experience for me, seeing all the various sea creatures alive in their tanks and watching people selecting which ones they wanted to be cooked right there made me feel quite sad. I know that that's how it works, but seeing it so overtly was quite a shock. So in my mind, I was just pretending it was a very large, noisy aquarium and just focused on taking my video clips. The weather remained pretty grotty, and with such poor visibility, we decided to head back early. You can see my camera was really struggling with the persistent rain, and whilst it's waterproof, there's not much you can do about the droplets on the lens. We watched the sail away briefly from the outside, but the wind quickly encouraged us back indoors. I settled into a warm window seat and continued to watch the sail away whilst also doing my Sudoku. I always bring my tablet with the Sudoku puzzles on holiday, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll have heard me mention my Sudoku. Remember that mysterious letter? It was actually an invitation to a party for new Cunard cruisers held in the Queen's Room ballroom. The captain was scheduled to be there, but due to the thick fog, he had to remain on the bridge, which honestly was reassuring as safety first. We still got to meet several of the other officers, and Cunard had put on an absolutely brilliant food display. It felt very classic and old school cruising. Since the party was quite early, we headed to dinner afterwards and then went back to the Queen's room to see the live band and watch other guests taking part in the ballroom dancing. We finished the night by checking out a different venue for some fun disco music, although I did not know any of the songs. On the promenade deck. I tried to settle down with my audiobook, the dramatised Fourth Wing, which has had amazing reviews, but strangely I'm not desperate to know what happens next, which is not what I had expected. Let me know in the comments below if you've read the Fourth Wing and if the book/series gets any more gripping as it goes along. We decided to try lunch in the main dining room, which was a lovely change. However, I still probably prefer the main buffet for lunch, because it avoids the formality of a sit-down meal, and I can just have a light snack, which is perfect after a huge cruise breakfast. Later, John went off to a lecture by Stephen Payne, the designer of the Queen Mary 2 itself. John had actually been watching quite a few of his videos at home, and we didn't know he would be on the cruise, so this was a massive unexpected bonus. I caught the tail end of his second talk about the ship's design and build, and it was fascinating. We even managed to get a picture with him afterwards. After that, I wanted to show you some of the unique high-up areas of the ship. I ventured onto this incredibly high-up, narrow walkway to reach a viewing platform. The wind was quite strong, and I was thinking, should I even be up here? This doesn't really feel that safe. I quickly made it to the platform, which was much more sheltered, and I got the photos that I wanted to. I then hurried back down a few levels to the promenade deck. Once on the promenade deck, it was definitely time for a well-earned snack. I made myself a little afternoon tea from the buffet and took some fun shots of John diligently doing his running laps on the deck. Once John was done, we headed to the bookshop and the library area. I have to share this story with you. I saw a gentleman sitting at the bookshop desk and I didn't want to buy anything. So we just sat around the corner in the library when we suddenly heard other passengers asking the man at the desk for book signings, and then the penny suddenly dropped. The man wasn't a member of staff, but Michelin star chef Michel Roux. I actually thought he was working at the checkout. Since I'm not much of a foodie, I just don't really follow those types of chefs. After the library, we explored the lower deck where there's a corridor with tables set up for board games and puzzles. I then wanted to show you another corridor and just capture the sheer grandness of this area before heading back out to see the sea one final time in the daylight.
Generate by AI.
Dressed for dinner, we made our final stop outside to admire the ocean and the beautiful evening light. I then wanted to show you the large model ship display and another funny travel story for you. If you start taking a selfie with a nice background, someone always offers to take it for you. This happened and the person insisted on taking loads of photos. They even got us to pose on a bench for a picture with the portrait of the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh. Afterwards, they jokingly told us to hang it in the picture of our toilet. Once we've moved house, maybe we'll just do that. The next morning we arrived back in Southampton and it was time for the shock of disembarkation. I was really impressed with how smoothly it went. We collected our luggage, we're in our car and on our way home in no time. It was sad to leave after such an amazing trip, but what wonderful memories we made. And that brings our amazing Norwegian Fjords cruise to an end. It was an incredible experience on the Queen Mary 2, and I hope these two videos have given you some great insight into what life on a Cunard cruise is like. If you had a good time watching, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more travel adventures. I'm also trying to post more shorts from our trips, so please do check out the short section of my YouTube channel too. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!